welcome you to yoga on Wednesday. Here being broadcasted from the NASA Langley Research Center. Don't forget that if you are a NASA employee who can come on base now, you're more than welcome to be here. I have a yogi with me here today, and it's so nice to have somebody here in person. So we love having you virtually. If you can't make it, that's fine, but just know that if you can come on site, you're more than welcome to come and practice with us Monday and Wednesdays at 11:15. So that being said, we'll take a moment just to rock back and forth and kind of get situated on our sit bones. And then we will have that nice tall line that we've made with the torso. Draw the navel gently back to the spine. Then we begin to relax tension that we don't need to have. Tension in our face with an expression. Tension with our shoulders, our neck. Tension in the hips. Tension in the knees. Allow the knees to just float towards the mat. Tension maybe in the ankles, the feet. So again, as you move through your postures, your asanas, let go of tension that you don't need. Go of bad tension. Be aware of that good tension though, where you're building strength. This practice is about becoming aware, about learning about your body, what you can do and what you can't do, being okay with both. So take the next few moments just to settle, relax the body, to fall awake, as we say, coming to your thoughts, to your feelings, being aware of how you feel physically, and breathe. Keep that connection of the breath throughout your practice. Remembering that the breath reminds us, breathe in to take in the things we need, breathe out to let go of those we don't. As you take your next deep cleansing breath in, allow the chin to come skyward if that's available to you. Remember, as with any posture, any asana, if it doesn't feel good, if you feel strain or pain, that's the body's way of telling you ease out. So be very welcome to modify in any posture. Allow the face once again to relax. Maybe the mouth gently drops open. Maybe the jaw floats from side to side, working out any tension in the jaw, cheeks, face. Close the mouth gently. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the chin to gently float down to the chest. So remember, the body stays long and tall. The bend is through the neck here. The weight of the head aids in the stretching of the neck. And then begin to allow the chin to float across the chest from right to left. That half moon sway back and forth. If it feels good for you to do so, come in full circle here. So one way several times. And then the other, with each turn, working out any kinks, any tightness, any fatigue, stress, neck, shoulders. The next time the chin rolls over the right collarbone, let it reside there. Feel the stretch deepen down the left side of the neck. Breathe. And then gently lift the chin forward as the right ear drops to the right shoulder. Remember, this is ear to shoulder, not vice versa. Lifting the head up, now allow the left ear to drop to the left shoulder. Drop the right shoulder down. Feel that stretch down the right side of the neck now. And then gently bring the chin down into the left collarbone, deepening the stretch here along the right side of the neck. Breathe. Nice. Lift the chin as if gazing over to the left of the room. And then gently swing the chin over to the opposite side as if gazing down to the right. Nice. Bring the head back to center. Bring your hands to heart center and set your intention for your class today to be ever mindful of tension. So good tension and bad tension, noticing both. We want to build strength. We want to load the muscles and have that good tension, but you should not feel strain or pain in anything that you do. Bring the arms back behind you and open up through the chest. Let the shoulder blades reach towards one another. Maybe once again, lifting the chin up if that feels good. Being mindful to relax the knees down as they try to creep up into this posture. We're opening through the chest here, our seated cow. And then we come forward with the hands, round through the back, draw the navel back to the spine. Now our seated cat. We begin to flow with the breath. Inhale, cow. Exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Nice. Bring the hands back towards the legs, lifting the head up. Then lift the arms skyward. So remember, when we reach with fingers, not with shoulders. So we're ever mindful not to strain something just to create a posture. So we practice this here because when we're home reaching for that light bulb, there's no need to strain the neck or the shoulders. We're reaching with fingers. So we practice it so that it becomes very natural to remind ourselves in our daily activities when we're doing that. So while keeping the hip bones focused forward, gently twist to the right. Bring your right arm back behind you, your left arm perched onto your right knee. You came right into Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal. Then we begin to flow. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the opposite side, to the left. Inhale the arms up. Exhale down. A few more times. Inhale up. Relaxing the knees and the legs. Exhale down. Last time. Inhale up. And exhale back down. Nice. And then release forward. Go ahead and let go of the legs. They've been kind of knotted up for a few minutes, so we allow movement to come in. We also move through our joints because it's ever important to move through your joints before you load them, before you work with them, exercise them. So important to move that synovial fluid around. So we turn one way and then the other with the ankles, and then we can come to that windshield wiper motion. When we're doing that, we want this to come all the way up from the hips. So it's not just the feet moving back and forth. We want the whole leg to really move back and forth so that we also begin to work the hips here. Nice. And then we bring one knee in and we hug on to that knee. And we flex through the opposite foot. And we just lift and hold for a moment, activating the core, awakening the core, activating the quads, point through the toe, and release back down. Now, the tendency when we do that, let's try that again, lift back up. The tendency is to roll back, right? But we want to keep that nice long posture. So if you need to prop yourself up in order to do that, or even aid the leg a bit with the point, then you can do that. I'd much rather you do that than have a bad posture and put strain on that lumbar spine. Let's do the same thing with the opposite side. So we're going to hug onto the left leg. You can lengthen through the torso, activate the core by bringing that navel back to the spine, lifting up the leg, and immediately feeling that activation of the core, and then pointing through the toes. Nice. Settle it down. And again, lift, flexing the foot. Notice your core, keep the back long. Point through the toes. And then settle back down. Nice job. Bring both legs up, give them a hug. Lengthen through the back here. Roll the shoulders back and down. Really a good stretch here. The chest as we open and bring those shoulders back a little more even. And then from here, just roll forward into your tabletop. Or find your way to come into tabletop position. So in our tabletop position, we always make sure with everything else that we're joint on top of joint here. So our hands are underneath our shoulders. We're in a nice straight line from our shoulders to our elbows to our wrists. And our knees are underneath our hips. Of course, we've contracted through the core, so we keep that nice and taut. If we ever have issues with our wrists, we can always make a fist. So if it bothers us to be on our hands, to be on your fist. But remember, this weight bearing for your hands is excellent for your wrists and your arms. It helps to build bone. So we want to bring that right knee in just a tad, and we want to lift and lengthen through the left leg. Now again, the tendency is to lean to the right, but we want to stay focused so that our hip bones are both focusing towards the mat. So it's as if we never lifted the leg at all. We don't shift to one side or the other. If we choose to challenge a little more, we can pick up the opposite arm. So now it's the right arm. And if we're working on balance, if this is way too challenging, we can kickstand through the toes, which helps a bit. This is your tiger pose. Nice. And we release. Same thing on the opposite side now. We lift and lengthen through the right leg. We try to keep those hip bones focused to the mat. Feel the weight in the hands. And then we lift the left arm, if we can. So again, a nice straight line. Down one arm, down the body, down the opposite leg. Tiger pose. And release. Nice. Assume your child's pose. You set your sit bones back onto your heels. Walk your fingers forward. Plant your palms. Let your thumbs look towards one another. And your fingers are spread nice and wide. Your hands are about shoulder width apart. But think of dialing out. We've been talking about that a lot lately. Dialing out with the hands. So without moving them, you think of turning, externally rotating. So I'm turning, and that activates the shoulder. It really works those lateral lines that stabilize the elbow and the shoulder to the trunk of the body. Really important. Nice. Now come on back up to your table. And we're going to come back into tiger, but we're going to challenge. So now it's my left leg again that lengthens. My hip bones still focused to the mat. And remember, I can stay at any point. So when we move from one thing to another, if it's better for you to stay like right here, you can. If you can, lift the opposite arm. So now it's the right arm. Right arm lifted, the left leg lifted. Now, if we wanted to move on, we would bend through that back leg, reach back with that right arm, grab onto that foot. This is your tiger bow. This is too much. Come back to your tiger. We create that resistance, pushing the foot against the hand, but pulling foot in with the hand. So that push and pull at the same time, creating that resistance. Nice. Now come back out. And come back down, tabletop. Once again, now again, with your hands both on the mat, think of that dialing out. And if you can, when you lift up one arm, you want to continue to think about that dialing out. So now we move to the opposite side. Now it's your right leg out. Your left arm out. We're thinking of that dialing out with the right hand. That's a challenge. It's actually kind of challenging cognitively too, because we have a lot going on here. So that mental process being involved with the physical, that connection, that's so important. Maybe challenging, bending through the back leg, reaching back with the left. Making that tiger bow as we push the hand against the foot, but pull the foot in against the hand. So we feel that opening in the chest, we feel the stretch and strengthening of the quadricep, we feel the weight into the right hand, building bones and strength. Tiger bow, and then we release. And come back, find your child's pose. Remember, in your child's pose, that's a place that we say in yoga that we honor the body. So if at any time you feel like you need to come here, you don't need to just hear me say, come to child's pose. You can just come there. From your child's pose, curl through your toes, lift your sit bones up, push against the balls of your feet, and lift your knees just barely off the mat. So it's kind of like a tabletop position with knees lifted. So we feel that good tension in the legs. We have the shoulders over top of the hands. So good alignment. So we're loading that muscle, strengthening that muscle, utilizing the weight of the body to build back. Now, ease back. So come to your small dog. So I'm pressing my sit bones back behind me. My arms are lengthened, so much like a down dog without your hips in the air. Now come forward, press against the balls of the feet. If this is too much, you can set your knees down into tabletop. Then rock back. Breathe. Once more, come forward, hover, or set them down. And back. Nice. Set your knees down, assume your child's pose. Take a rest. Takasana, child's pose. Breathe. From your child's pose, lift up and allow the body to flow forward and the legs to continue to fall towards the mat. So remember that the more the legs come to the mat, the more the bend in the back, right? So being very mindful of any back issues here in our King Cobra. Again, if this bothers your wrist, you can make a fist. But if it doesn't, this is a good thing. If you can do this without any strain or pain, this weight into your hands, really building the bones of the arms. Now, just like we talked about a moment ago, that dialing out of the hands, you can do that here. So we're thinking of externally rotating. So think of dialing your hands out without moving them. That's going to draw your elbows in. Going to activate those lateral lines. Then curl through your toes, come to your plank. Once again, dial the hands out. Release any tension in your head and neck. Lift your abdomen. Nice. Come back. King Cobra. Nice. This time ease down. Baby Cobra. Bujang Asana. So remember, in your baby cobra, there's little to no weight in your hands. Your elbows are drawn into the body. Of course, the more you lift the chest, the more you activate the back. This is a back strengthener. Bujang Asana, baby cobra. Take a breath. Push into the hands. Keep the elbows in and push to your plank. Nice. Now lift to that first down dog of the day. This should feel good. Shifting the weight back. So I'm shifting the weight back with hips, lifting them up, pressing the heels down, but all the while pushing into those hands like you're trying to rip away the top of the mat. And once again, thinking of dialing out with the hands. So you draw those elbows in alignment. Use those lateral, strong fascial lines along the outside of the arms. And then flow forward to a plank. Half or full. Under your King Cobra. Ease to your baby Cobra. Slower the better. Nice. Keeping the elbows in. Nice. Now push up to your King Cobra. Try to make the body all one unit. Dial out those arms. Curl through the toes. Come to your plank. Lift to your down dog. Breathe. Nice. Slowly walk the feet to the hands. And I say slowly because you really want to tighten the core here. So the softer you walk, the more you can utilize the core. As you come to the top of your mat, have a nice slight bend in the knees, pushed into the feet. And now we're going to think about those lateral lines along the legs. So now we're thinking about dialing out with the feet. So again, I'm not moving the feet, but I'm mentally thinking about externally rotating to the feet. And then as I come up, I want to push into the heel, keep the back long, drive the crown of the head forward. Come on up. Hands to heart center. Find your mountain pose, Tadasana. So remember, in our Tadasana, we ground, as we say, so we take a moment. Remember, there's all of these many practices within the practice. So if I'm grounding, I'm practicing being still for a moment, noticing my thoughts, checking in on my emotions, checking in on the body. Then I can move to a flow. So with our breath, we inhale up. We exhale down, forward fold, Uttanasana. We inhale, the hands to the shins, or Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, the hands back down. We inhale, the left foot back to the right. Remember your down dog, dial out the hands. We exhale to a plank, after full, knees down, knees up, you choose. We inhale, King Cobra. We exhale, back to plank. We inhale, lift, down, dog. Push down the heels, push away the hands. We exhale, back to our forward fold, Uttanasana. We inhale, slow reverse swan dive. We exhale, our hands to heart center. That's a great flow to do in the morning or at night, great way to wake up or to settle down. You know, you can determine that with your mindset, whether you're being very meditative, concentrating on the breath, or whether you're, bringing in Bible verses or poems or whatever. That's a great flow to remember. Okay, as we step open with our feet, maybe a little more than hip width apart. So remember, when you're planting the feet, planting the hands, we want to think about the activation of these lateral lines. So you're hearing me talk a lot about dialing out. So it's as if I were doing this, that external rotation, but I'm not moving. So same thing with your feet here. As you start to bend, I want you to notice the weight in your feet. When you come forward, try not to bring your head down. Keep your head up and press sit bones back and down so that you're driving your downward motion by pressing your sit bones back and down and driving the weight into your heels. You should feel almost like you're going to tip back over. You should be able to wiggle your toes here. And same thing, I'm planting my feet into the mat and I'm dialing them out. And when I do that, I feel the activation of the gluteus and the lateral lines. And then I bring my hands to heart center. And I hold here for a moment. That loading of the muscle, that holding, fatiguing the muscle is where we strengthen. Then I can begin to move. Tap to the center and tap back. Stay low, tap to the center and tap back. Tap to the center and tap back. Now, the more I'm pressing into the foot, the less I'm using my core. So if it's a very light tap, I'm really tightening with the core and using that body weight to help me strengthen. One last time, tap to the center, tap back. Nice, bring that left leg behind you. Now bend through that knee. So now we have two 90-degree angles. We have one here with the hip over the knee, then jetted back with the leg, and we have one from the hip to the knee in the front, right? So always knee on top of foot. Always think about aligning your joints. Now I want to step forward. Stay as low as you can. Step forward and bend. Nice. If you need to meet in the middle, you can. So I can tap here, step back. Or I can take one big step and try to stay low. Here and bend. Nice. Either tap in the middle or one big step. Should be feeling this, especially in the right leg. Forward, step, and bend. One more time. Building strength, improving flexibility, improving balance. Step and bend. Nice. Last time. Come back. Step and bend. Hold here. Nice. And then I want you to press that back heel down. Lengthen through that back leg. Stretch that back leg out. So I'm pressing through the heel, but I'm also keeping weight in this front foot. I want you to concentrate. Stop a few times and think of that dialing out. So as I'm pressing through the front foot, I want to think of dialing out. Again, you're not moving the foot, but you're thinking about it. Because you're doing that, you're activating these lateral lines. You feel that tension created. That's good tension. Step forward. Nice. Step to the center and out. Stay as low as you can without causing strain or pain. To the center and out. Press through the sit bones. Don't lean forward. Remember, the lighter the tap, less weight in the foot. So in other words, if I really want to work, I'm barely tapping the floor, right? So I can hear and hear. Less weight, more you're using core. 3 more times. Tap and out. Last time. Tap and out. Nice job. Let's come in and back. So we're going to bring that back leg back. We make our 90-degree angles. So again, I'm pushing against the ball of the foot. I'm driving that knee to the floor. If that is too much for me, I can lengthen through the leg and just hold here. Remember, modify. This is not a competition. But if I want to work both legs, I'm bending, driving that knee down to lower, but I'm keeping that weight in the front foot, and I'm thinking about dialing out. Then I begin to move. Lift, bend, come down. Lift, bend, come down. Again, you can tap in the middle if you need to. Lift, step, bend. Lift, step, bend. Again, strength, flexibility, loading the muscle, resiliency. That's what you're doing here, building all of that. Lift, step, and bend. Nice. Now press that heel down, lengthen through that leg, feel that gluteus tighten, keep weight in that front foot, think of dialing out. So when you do that, you're really pressing down with the foot, you're kind of gripping the foot, the mat a little bit, and you think of dialing that leg out. And it's as if you're turning on these muscles and you feel that gluteus draw in and you step forward. Nice. And then we can come into our chair pose. Ooh, Takasana. Now, in your chair pose, I want you to imagine that you have a strap around your legs and that you're working against the strap. The strap is trying to pull you in, but you're trying to push a little bit of resistance against the strap. At the same time, I want you to have that feeling of dialing out with the feet. As soon as you do that, you should feel the quads and those lateral lines. Breathe. Takasana. Chair pose. Nice. Come on up. Hands to heart center. And ground. So take a moment. This is important. These moments all during your day where you just stop, say, what am I thinking? How do I feel? What are my emotions? Am I really feeling them, or am I just walking through the day and storing all of this? And then I have to play it out when I'm trying to go to sleep, because it's got to go somewhere, right? So if you take these mini vacations, mindcations, as I say, if you take time to be still, sort out, and hopefully you won't have that at night when you go to sleep. The mind won't be so full. Come to the top of your mat. Coming into a sun salutation. We'll practice our warriors as we come up. Swan dive down. Forward fold. Bring your hands to your shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Press the hands back down. It's your right knee that comes into the chest. Your right leg extends behind me. Remember, in our warrior legs, we're going to spin out that back foot so that our toes look at the long angle of the mat. We press weight into the left foot and we tighten through the core. And if we can, we let go of the hands and we drive from the foot. Bring us up. Then we spin the arms out and we find ourselves in Virabhadrasana 2. So warrior 2. So these strong, stable warrior legs. A long leg. We talked about those lateral lines here with this back leg. We can do the same thing with that dialing out. If you dial out the foot without moving it, think of dialing out the foot and then press that outer edge of the foot down. You're going to feel that IT band, those lateral lines on the leg to activate. As you bend through the front knee, you don't want to do it so much that the knee goes past the foot. But think about dialing out, again, with the legs. And you find the gluteus activates more, the legs become more involved. So see, what we're trying to do here is really connect, really tap in with these lateral lines, these connective tissues that help to support our joints, our muscles. Nice. We reverse the front palm and we lift and lower all at the same time into our reverse warrior. Our abdomen becomes taut. We can either lift the arm high or we can reach over the head, ear, bicep over ear if that feels better. This is your reverse warrior. Don't lose the bend in your knee. It's a tendency to kind of lift out of that bend, but keep pushing weight to that front foot and then come back. Warrior 2. So now from our warrior 2, we're going to lengthen through the front leg. And we ease down as we lift that right arm up, drop the left arm down. We come into triangle pose, or Takasana. And we can rest our arm on the leg or we can dangle the arm in front. Obviously, the less weight we put into that left hand and arm, the more the core is having to work to hold us up. Don't forget your back leg. Keep those muscles activated. Press into that foot. Dial out with that foot. Lift that right arm. Look up to the right arm if you want to challenge your balance a bit. Then slowly lift back up, bend through the knee. Back to your warrior 2. Nice. Bring the hands to heart center. And as we gently begin to twist, we're going to lift up the back heel, turn that foot, and then place the heel down. We come to our crescent or our high lunge. And we ease down. Again, slower the better, but do what you need to do. If you need to place your hand on your leg and ease yourself down, you can. You can work your way down without any weight into anything. That's much more of a challenge. Left foot marries the right, downward facing dog. So remember, in your down dog, your shoulders are soft. They're strong, but they're not sinking soft, but they're relaxed. In other words, they're not strained. They're not pulling way all up to your ears. So just make them relaxed but strong. That sounds kind of very opposite, but they're not sinking by any means. Nice long line of the arms. And then I flow forward to my plank. Nice. From our plank, we can set our knees down and of course be much less challenging. We can come to our forearms and come to our forearm plank. We want elbows right underneath shoulders, so our elbows took over for our hands. We want to pull the sit bones down, but draw the abdomen up, and we're pushing against the balls of the feet. Forearm plank. And then we open the hands up, and we slowly ease the body down. If we can, the body is one unit, and then lift. Heart up into our Sphinx pose. Again, a back strength. Breathe. Replace your elbows with your hands. Remember that tunnel. You want to think of yourself in a tunnel so that we drive the elbows in. Hands are under shoulders. Think of dialing the hands out so you feel that little bit of a grip to the mat there. And you can either push yourself up to your half plank, try to bring the body up as one unit, so you can come to your knees, or you can be in a full plank, you choose, and then lift to your down dog. So see, building a lot of strength there. Let's do that again. Come forward to a plank. Nice. Lift to your king cobra. Ease down to your baby cobra. Elbows in, stay in that tunnel. Dial the hands out. Push to your plank, trying to keep your body as one unit. Use the arms, building strength. Curl through your toes, lift to your down dog. Nice. Now remember, in our sun salutations, we end with the leg we start with. So it was the right leg we started with. So we're going to raise the right leg up. Then we're going to draw the right knee in. We just step. We take a big step. Lift and place. Doesn't matter how close or how far it is. Grab onto your ankle. Bring it forward. So remember, it's much better to step forward than to swing it forward, because if you swing forward, you're using momentum, right? Not muscle. So now we spin out that back leg. So as I spin the toes to the long angle of the mat, plant weight into my right foot. And I lift up my hands if I can. I rest them on my leg if I need to. And I push from the foot. So you move using the muscles in the leg to come up. And lift the body up. Again, if you need to, put weight into something. Begin to think about dialing out. So as you go through your practice in the next few weeks, when you have planted your feet or your hands somewhere, think about dialing out. And as you do that, feel that activation of those lines and see how that feels. If it feels good, do it, because you're activating it. So here I'm thinking about dialing out the foot, dialing out the back foot. I'm pressing the outer edge down, bending through this knee, creating more weight, keeping knee on top of the foot. So you don't want so much of a bend that the knee goes past the foot, because then you're doing the kneecap arm. Then I spin the arms out into my warrior two. Now, in warrior two, sometimes we get overzealous with the warrior two, and we brought the arms way up and we don't even think about it. So you want to make sure you relax your shoulders, and then think about extending through your fingers. Look beyond your fingers. Because if I'm thinking about extending through my shoulder, then I'm going to strain my shoulder. Kind of like when we were here. And I said, reach with your fingers, not your shoulders. So the shoulders are strong, but they're not too soft. They're strong, but they're not strained. My arms are even with my shoulder height. I reverse the palm and I draw back into my warrior two. And as I do, this right oblique loves it, because you're stretching, you're activating that oblique muscle alongside the abdomen, all the while not letting go of that bend in that front leg. So sometimes when we, come over and lean one way, we lift off of our weight, but we want to keep that weight, keep that dialing. Remember, you can lift, you can bend and come over to stretch the oblique a little more. Reverse, warrior. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Ease back. Bring your hands to heart center. And then slowly rotate. First, without moving the legs, because you give that hip flexor a great stretch here. Twist from that upper thoracic spine. Then lift up the heel. Tell the whole foot to turn. And then place the heel down. Now you come into your high lunge. Press. The only difference in a warrior one and a high lunge is your back leg. You would have left the back leg the way it was, and then you would have been in warrior one. And you slowly come down. Again, loading the muscle with weight, tightening the core to ease you down to balance. Hands marry the mat, step forward, lift, and place. Uttanasana, forward fold, you're slow. One back, your hands marry heart center. You find your mountain pose, Takasana. Again, check in. Practice within the practice. Very important. During your day, when you think about it, when your attention is drawn to your breath or even your thoughts, just stop for a moment and say, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? How do I feel? This is huge. Think about how we don't do that and what we miss, right? Okay, bring yourself to the center of your mat or the top of your mat, moving into a little bit of balance. So remember, it doesn't take much to balance, right? I can lift one foot barely off the mat and I'm balancing. And then we notice what we talked about earlier, that good tension or bad tension. So is your knee very, very tight? Have you hyperextended it? Some people actually hyperextend their knees. You know, it's almost like it's bent backwards. So remember, when you balance, especially on one foot, keep that good alignment. Let your knee be relaxed but strong. Toes, try to relax them. Instead, use your core. Use your abdomen to really help you balance here. Then begin to move maybe the leg. Move it to the front. Feel the quad. Move it to the outer thigh, to the outside, working the outer thigh. As you do, don't lean one way or the other. Try to keep the crown of the head skyward. Slowly bring it back. Don't change your upper body. So I'm not bending forward too far yet. We'll get there. Now I feel the gluteus. My core is tight and it's got a nice good stretch here in the upper part, the anterior part of the trunk. Then I do it again. I bring the leg forward, and the more I lift it, the more I feel that quad. I gently swing it out to the side without leaning. Remember, if you need toes on the mat, you can. Then I bring it back just a little bit. Feel that gluteus come into play. One more time. Forward. Feel this muscle, this leg, the muscles in the leg that you're on. Bringing it forward, coming out to the side. Hold here for a moment. Think of dialing out that foot that you're on. And this, remember I talked about how we bring that cognitive in. So balance is already a lot of cognitive work. So holding still and balancing and dealing with trying to think about dialing out, that takes a lot of concentration. And then bring the leg back. Now it's here that you can begin to come forward slowly. If you need your toes on the mat or on the floor behind you, you can. We're working towards paralleling the body over the floor, trying to keep our hip bones focused to the mat. We bring the arms behind us or forward. Your way. This is our Virabhadrasana 3, our warrior 3. Head and neck relaxed, reaching with fingers. And then really strengthening the leg by trying to come on up all the way vertical before you set this opposite leg down. That weight really helps you strengthen that leg more. Let's try that again. So again, first we just lift the leg. And if you're just beginning to work on balance work, or if you know it's off or not good, a lot of people are dealing with sinus issues with all the pollen. So that makes a huge difference. You know, it really plays havoc on our sinuses. And in turn, that has our equilibrium a little bit off. So we need to be aware of that so we can be more careful. So if you're working on balance and you need to just lift one foot right now, that's fine. I'll take it. But you need to do something every day. So again, the more I lift, the more I bring that quadricep in, the more I lift out to the side, the more I work that outer thigh. Again, trying not to lean. I can keep my toe on the floor if I need to. I slowly bring the leg back, and I want to bring it back enough that I feel the gluteus activate. So that right buttock squeezes, it activates. My core is nice and tall and long, not bending forward yet. Then I gently come forward, lift. Maybe when you're warmer, at this point, you can lift a little more. Building strength, loading the muscle. Come out to the side. Gently come back. Once again, come forward. See if you can lift just a bit more. Core is tight. Lifting that leg to where you can, out to the side. Feeling that outer thigh. And back. Feeling that gluteus. And now, slowly, begin to come forward. Maybe you just come a little forward. Maybe you're midway. Maybe you can come parallel to the floor. Trying to keep your hip bones focused to the mat. Notice your head and neck. Relax and lengthen through the head and neck so there's no strain there. Bring the arms in as I extend them behind me or forward. Warrior 3. And then as I slowly come up, I want to try to lift the body up without setting the leg down until I get all the way up. And then set it down. That loads the weight on that leg, building and strengthening. Awesome. Let's come to the top of our mat. Bring the arms skyward, swan dive down, forward fold. Nice. Go ahead and set one knee down and the other, or bend and squat down, find your way down to the mat, in other words. Nice. Now bring your hands back behind you. Come to the center of your mat. And have your hands always, again, joint on top of joint. So I want to make sure that my hands aren't too far back. I'm right underneath my shoulder. So again, I want a nice straight line. And again, if this bothers your hands, you can make a fist, modify as needed. Bring your feet about hip width apart. And I want you to lean forward just enough that you feel yourself putting some weight into your feet. And then think about dialing out again. So really here, if I dial out, I think of dialing out with the feet, I can feel all the way up into the gluteus, how that activates the leg. And then I lift just a tad, doesn't take much. Lifting the sit bones off the mat, I feel the abdomen activate, the navel draws down into the spine. And I hold here for a moment. And then I bend through elbows, bringing the sit bones down closer to the mat, and then press up. Again, bend, hold, keep the elbows in. Remember, dialing out with the hands, even here. So that helps me to know to draw those elbows in. Bend and lift. We're working those triceps, something that we don't do a lot in our normal daily activities. Bend and lift. Now, if that is way too easy, if you need something a little more challenging, I can come up here, then bend and lift. A lot more challenging the more that you're lifting the body up. Bend and lift. Last time. Bend and lift. Dial out with the feet and the hands. See if you can lift those sit bones up. Maybe even drop the head back if that feels good to you. Nice. And then slowly release the sit bones down close to the feet. Relax. One arm down and the other, bringing the body down to the mat. Take the left foot to the left side of the mat, the right to the right side. And then a wide-legged bridge pose. So I'm going to push into my feet. And just like we did a moment ago, I'm going to lift the sit bones up and lengthen through the body. And I'm going to think of externally rotating the shoulders here. So I'm pressing the shoulders into the mat, open up through the chest. My head and neck are very stable. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not looking side to side. Squeezing through the gluteus, pushing into the feet, dialing out with the feet. Nice. A wide leg bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Now slowly ease the sit bones back down. Move your feet together. Knees are about hip width apart. Now do the same thing. Push into the feet. Think of dialing them out and then lift the sit bones up. Come into your normal bridge or Setu Bandhasana. Here you can even lift one shoulder and roll it under and the other if you want to open the chest a little more. You can interlace the fingers underneath the sit bones here. Great opening of the chest. Great for the gluteus, a nice lengthening of the body. And again, planting weight into the feet and dialing out with the feet. Really working on those connective tissues, those lateral lines. Nice. And then slowly set that down. Move the left foot back to the left edge of the mat, the right to the right, and drop the right knee to the left foot. Feel that nice stretch in the quadricep here that we work so much during our squats. And then if you choose, you can drop the left knee as well. So now I feel the stretch move from the quad up into my psoas, into my hip flexor. So just by dropping that one leg, I feel the difference in the stretch. So it's always amazing to me. The smallest movements, the smallest differences make such a big difference in how we feel. Okay, now lift back up. Now it's the same thing. The left knee drops to the right foot,
And I feel that quadriceps stretching. Then as I begin to drop the right knee as well, the left gluteus lifts up and I feel that stretch move up into the psoas and the hip flexor. Breathe. Nice. Bring them back up. Bring the knees together and bring them into the chest. Give them a hug. Hopefully not your last hug today. Rotate through your ankles here. And then go ahead and lift the legs up, coming into your up the wall. Now, we don't do inversions a lot, but a lot of people do like them. I always caution everyone, whenever you're in an inversion, even this one, though it's very simple, you want to keep your gaze to the ceiling. So if you want to stay here and up the wall, this is very beneficial. If you want to move through them with me, listen to me. Don't turn your head. So always keep your gaze to the ceiling. So here, up the wall, a very easy, very simple inversion. Most people can do this, but it's so beneficial. It's up the wall pose. At home, you can literally have your legs up against the wall. Wonderful to do before you go to sleep. Blood flow to get to the brain. Helps you sleep better. If you choose to move on, keeping your head to the ceiling, you lift the hips, roll the lower body over the top of the head. Again, be very mindful to keep your gaze to the ceiling. This is your plow pose. So my navel is drawn back to my spine. If this is not for you, that's fine. Stay up the wall. Your feet do not have to touch the floor. They may or they may not. To move on, my hands are at the base of my back, and I lift the legs up, coming into shoulder stance, Sarvandasana. Remember, gaze is always to the ceiling. You can do whatever you want with your legs, just nothing should change from your shoulders up, shoulder stance. To come out, just like you came in, ease the legs over the head, slowly drop back. So they're just some inversions that you can practice, but being very, very careful to always stabilize your cervical spine. Bend through your knees, open your arms, allow the knees to float to the left, your gaze to the right. Feeling the vertebra open up. Twists are wonderful for the vertebra, but also wonderful for the digestive system. We don't think about it, but they help create that motility in the body, inside the body. Very important. Use your core to lift your knees up, allow them to flow to the right, your gaze to the left. You can actually lift that left arm up and hover it, turn the palm to the ceiling. Load that muscle there, work it against your body weight. Same thing, activate the core to lift the knees up, draw them back to the chest, give them a hug. And then slowly let go of one leg in front of you and the other. Come to Shavasana. Shavasana is a place of rest. And this is actually the most important part of our practice. And so you hear me say often, try not to miss this part, because this is where you assimilate everything of your practice. You allow yourself to reflect. Listen even closer to the mind. Feel the emotions even more. You notice your physical body, how it feels. Take the next few moments just to be. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Then listen to the body and what it calls on you to move. Maybe it wants to turn through a wrist. Maybe it wants toes or fingers to wiggle. Take a deep cleansing breath in, taking in what you need, and let go with your exhale, the things you don't. Begin to rotate onto one side or the other. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, push yourself up. And come on to that mat, that same position that you started. And we realize that we're in the same mat, in the same position, in the same place, but we're not the same. And I think this is important for us to understand that we're always changing, and to embrace that so that we can make the most of it, so that we can adapt, because we're going to change. We need to change. You'll get to the point where you want to change. So embrace this time. Bring your hands to heart center. Loka samasta sukhi no hamatu means may the entire universe be filled with peace, joy, love, and light. I hope you felt these things. I hope you're able to go out and share them with others. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here, and I thank Chris for being here with me in person. Again, if you're able to access the center, please come out and practice with us on Monday and Wednesdays at 11:15. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.